Hey everyone, let's wrap up October. October was a little bit inconsistent when it comes to videos on my channel. I missed a few upload days and then swamped you with reviews at the end of the month. But let's look at the two discussions we had. We talked about our favorite authors we just generally go and pick up, and what a favorite author is for us. And thank you all very much for your comments and sharing your favorite authors. There were quite a few that I hadn't heard of, so new authors to check out is always awesome. And then we also talked about ambition. I kind of generally don't think of myself as very ambitious, and you also shared with me your definition of ambition and how ambitious you are, what your own opinion is about your own ambitiousness, and also about my thoughts on my ambition, which was very nice. Thank you very much for all your comments there. And of course, thank you for still watching my letters to the months and all your nice comments there. So now let's get into the reading. Reading-wise, October started very slow because I still had to finish A Virgin Soul. And I struggled with this book. I couldn't get into the writing, I couldn't get into the character. The things that happened were sort of okay, but overall, I just didn't really flow with this book. After finally finishing Virgin Soul, I jumped onto shorter books and books I just flew through. For example, Mothering Sunday by Graham Swift. I love Graham Swift, and this book was amazing. It's a story of one Sunday and what happens to a maid and her life, and it's Graham Swift, you get her whole life, but it's focusing on that one Sunday, and I just loved this book. Multiple Choice is another very short book that I read. It's basically set up as a multiple choice test, and it gets you thinking about multiple choice tests. That was very interesting and a quick read just for fun. Another more non-fiction based book I read was Switch, and it's all about change and how you can implement change, how you can deal with change, and why you basically are reluctant to change in yourself. And it's a lot of theory behind it, a lot of good advice, and I really enjoyed this book, and I can recommend it to anyone who's struggling with change and wants to understand more about it or has to implement change at their workplace or in their own private life. The last physical book I read was Property, and it's a story that completely surprised me. I hadn't heard of this book before, just picked it up on a whim, and it's told by the wife of a plantation owner, and it's in the 1820s, so we have slaves and all these struggles there, and it's talking about it, and it just feels so real, and the writing was so well done that I could just fly through it. And it's short, but nevertheless, there was so much in it. I can highly recommend this book. On audio, I listened to two books this month. How to Be Black by Baratunde Thurston was the first one. It's a non-fiction book about being a Black American, and it's giving you advice on what you should do to be Black. Comedic, of course, it's a comedic book, but it's also very interesting and very informative. It's very well written. The narration is done super well on the audiobook. I can highly recommend it if you are interested at all in this topic. And the last audiobook I listened to was Infomocracy by Malka Older, and I actually have listened to it twice now, which helped me understand all the details of the story a little bit better. The first time I listened, I didn't quite get all the political things, the world building and everything that is happening there, but the second time around I knew what to listen for and picked up on a lot more clues and hints that were there in the first time as well, but I just didn't hear them. What I really liked about this book is how the story is told and the things that are happening, how it's balanced, and I really liked two of the characters and their interactions, and they just made me fall in love with this book. If you want more about any of the books that I talked about today, I put reviews up for all of them. I'll put the links in the description as usual. I think after all I had a very good reading month in October, although it didn't look like it in the beginning. Tell me how your October was in the comments, and let's have a nice November. Are you doing NaNoWriMo? I sort of am.